Hey everyone, welcome to Vintage Booth Pro. My name is Crystal, and today I have discovered the 5 simple secrets to having a very successful antique booth business. And so this one is a lot of fun, but so I've been at this like 2.5 years, and I also manage a group over on Facebook with I think it's over 7,000 group members, which is so crazy. So that group has newbies like me, but also people that have been in the industry for years and years and are just offering their advice and wisdom. And so I have been collecting kind of their advice. I read almost every comment and, just see what people are saying about this crazy roller coaster of an antique booth industry that we really don't know a lot about. And that's kind of why I started the group. It's just to get feedback on what's selling and what's trending, and just to help educate ourselves and become more successful. So I have kind of narrowed it down to 5 items that we have to keep perfectly balanced to have a successful vintage booth. And now I kind of look at it like you're juggling. You have to keep these things up in the air all the time, or the lady spinning the dishes. Like all these things have to be perfectly aligned at all times, or it's not going to work out. And if you're ever struggling, you can kind of look back at these 5 things and say, okay, well, this one area is lacking, so maybe I need to consider a change there. And so I'm going to share this with you, and then I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about each one. And I would love to hear your opinion on if there's something else we should add to the list, or if or just your thoughts in general. Let me know. Okay, so the 5 things are: 1, location; 2, your product selection; 3, your displays; 4, pricing; and 5, marketing. So let's get into it. Number 1, location, location, location is just like in real estate. You have to find not only the perfect store in your area, you have to find the perfect location within the store. And so I do have another video where I kind of talk about the basics of starting a vintage booth for someone that hasn't done it before. But I'll tell a story just about how I did it, and I think a lot of other people had kind of the same journey in that, you kind of shopped around at different antique stores, and, you do a vibe check. Do you like the store? Is there a lot of foot traffic? You kind of have to check at different times during the week. And the most important thing is, if you like shopping there, other people will like shopping there too. And if you don't like shopping there, other people won't like it either. So I go into a little bit more detail on my other video. And also for this video, I have it in written form over on my blog on vintageboothpro.com. And I will link it in the description below. Just several things to remember when you're checking out the location. Is there high foot traffic? What is the cost of, it's usually per square foot. Is there availability? Is there a lot of competition? And sometimes that's a really good thing, because it will attract even more antiquers. It will really help you gauge the demand in your area. And what is the demographic of your area like? The types of items that you're going to sell, are the buyers in your area? So just a lot of things to consider. And then look at the store's social media and advertising presence. Do they advertise? Do they promote their booth owners? Are they doing anything to get more people into the store? And that is a huge differentiation. So now the trick is getting into the perfect store. So this is where, take your time finding the perfect store, but once you find it, grab whatever opportunity you can to get in. And that's because while there is a wait list, what I've learned is a lot of store owners will open up any available booths to current booth owners if they want to expand or maybe move. And so if you can get into your perfect store, you will probably have an opportunity to move if you're not crazy about the booth location. So once you're in, it will take you a little bit to kind of figure out the layout and the flow of traffic. And so finding the perfect location, and you may want a bigger booth or a smaller booth, etc. You will probably have an opportunity to move, once you've been in for a couple of months. And I'm sure other booth owners will agree with me there. If you go in on the first of the month, it is like a chessboard. Like, people are moving, and I try to avoid the first day of the month at my store just because it's really hard to get in because people are moving. Okay, number 2 is to curate the perfect items. And now, if you have seen any of my videos where I share what's sold in for my group members, you will know that a lot of people have this down. Like even, their first few months, they're doing extremely well. That was not my journey, and I know a lot of other people struggle as well. And my story, just real quickly, I started out selling clothing online, and I thought it'd be a great idea to transfer some of those vintage pieces to a local store and have people, have the opportunity to touch and feel the items, try them on, and that would just increase my sales like crazy. So I found a spot, signed the lease. They said no to my vintage clothing, which was such a shocker and a bummer, and I'm still so confused about it because really no one had clothing at the time, but a few months later I was seeing a lot of other people have clothing. But that's a previous owner, past life. So I had kind of had to do a 180. I was planning on having some furniture along with my clothing, but had to just really focus on furniture and smalls and home decor. And that was a really difficult learning process for me because I really only knew clothes. And so that is why I highly recommend watching this buyer persona video, and that will help you immensely learn what type of buyer you want to target on and what type of buyers you want to focus curating items for. So are you looking for, a young couple that's just starting out that really wants to focus on MCM furniture? Are you focused on, the 40, 50 plus crowd that loves everything chippy white and farmhouse even? So it really helps with sourcing. I highly recommend watching that video as part of this process, but that is definitely key, is finding the perfect product. So next is to master the art of display. And like I said, some people come into this industry and they have got it. When you look at traditional retail stores, they even have visual merchandisers that is their full-time job, is just to create beautiful displays to catch the eyes of customers. It's something some of us, like me, have to learn. And, I find it really fun to create vignettes and focal points and things like that. So just along those lines, I can direct you to some videos where I've talked about that, and I'm going to be doing more in the future. And I do love sharing displays from our group members. So I actually have a lot of videos about just booth displays because it's so incredibly important to create the right mix. Find a focal point. Create seasonal displays. Eye level is buy level. That's probably my favorite thing because I always imagine, just as I shop, I look left to right, and you just have seconds to catch someone's attention. And so keeping some of the most eye-catching items at eye level is going to help you immensely. Refresh your space regularly. Use signage, and that's something I really don't see a lot of booth owners doing, is using signage. I'm guilty of that as well. But the ones that I do see use signs in their booth really make a huge difference to me. And just always be learning, always be switching things up, refresh constantly. We always laugh about how something that's been in your booth forever, but you move it the tiniest bit and it sells. Like, it's been there a year. Okay, and the next thing to remember is pricing. And this is one of the most difficult things. And this is where it is just so different than traditional retail, where they have just a basic markup that they use. And so like you can say, 50% markup. It's not the case. And it's not always, 3x what you spend on something. You really have to look at the value of the items and what your market can absorb. Like, what can your market afford? What will people in your town pay for those products? So recently I asked my Facebook group members, what were some of their recommendations on pricing, and I got a ton of feedback. So what I did, I took that feedback and turned it into the 5 rules of pricing. And but the main thing to remember is that every rule is meant to be broken. But I do have a video on just the 5 rules of pricing and just some tips, and to help you think about when you're trying to get more effective at increasing your sales when it comes to pricing. And really the best mix is when you can make a buyer extremely happy over their sale and while maximizing your profit. So it's a really fine line to balance, and that is where it gets really difficult because for me personally, I want to get the most money out of it. So it comes down to a lot of research, figuring out your market, and creating that perfect price. The last thing I want to talk about is marketing. And some booth owners are lucky enough that their stores do such an amazing job and they're getting enough people in the door that you don't have to worry about marketing your booth. But then there's the flip side of that, is that how much more successful could you be if you took marketing into your own hands in addition to what your store owners are doing? And so I always say to create a brand for your booth, especially if you were going to drive people to a social media like a Facebook or Instagram or TikTok to just keep people updated on your booth. And that is where signage can be huge, is to have, you know, a QR code or a link or, you know, some easy way for people to find you on social media. And be sure to post regularly. I'm not that great at it. The next thing to consider is the social selling platforms. And, you know, we always talk about Facebook Marketplace, but I get so frustrated with it because there's so many scammers. I almost assume everyone that reaches out to me is a scammer. So I've been testing out Nextdoor, OfferUp, and Craigslist. And all you do is you can either post items individually or you can post your booth, pictures of your booth, and here are the store details. You know, go there. They never have to contact you directly. It really will help increase sales. So it's definitely a worthwhile thing to do, especially if you are looking to have a fast turnover rate. As far as marketing goes, some things you may not think about are collaboration with other booth owners. And you can get really creative here. You know, maybe do live sales events, maybe do some kind of social event. And it's all based on what your store owners will allow. You would think they'd be happy to have some more promotional things, but, you know, we're all friends in this industry. So come up with some ideas that you can help improve sales together. I think that would be really, really fun. Oh, and let me know what you come up with. What about email marketing? So, you know, email marketing, you really want to use a platform like a Constant Contact or something like that. And there's a little bit of a fee with things like that, but the key would be to be creative with how you're collecting people's email addresses, and that can be through social media. You could have a fishbowl in your booth, have a promotion, give away something just to get those email addresses. You can have just a notebook in your booth just so people can write down, you know, if they want more information from you. If your store will allow that, I would definitely ask first about that. But you could, like, you own your social media, so absolutely do it that way. Just check all the rules with everything. But think about that, like, what a great way to engage with your customers that love you, your buyer personas, those people that are raving fans of yours, and send one email a week just with some updates on new products that are coming in or projects you're working on. So would you consider hosting a workshop or demonstration? And this can be done on your social media as well, but just think about, like, all the people that upcycle furniture, things from trash to treasure, things like that. People love to see and want to learn more about. There are people that do woodworking. There are pet portraits. There are one of my favorites is people that will refresh your cast iron and maybe teach you how not to wash them. It's shocking to me how people just destroy their cast iron pieces. So there are a lot of things you can do on the marketing side. Just think about it, get creative with it, and whatever you decide to do it consistently, because that is what those social media platforms love and will keep people coming back. And there it is, the 5 simple things you need to have a successful antique booth business. So your location, your products, your display, your pricing, and your marketing. Simple as that. And I know it is a little bit, you know, just trying to be funny here. Those things are really, really difficult to get right. I'm on a journey to figure them out, and I'm sharing it with you all along the way. And many of you have been here from the beginning and have seen my ups and downs. And I'm trying to get much more consistent with sharing, being transparent with how I'm doing in this antique booth business. And I hope you join me over on Facebook, where I do post daily just my sales when I have sales, because I don't have sales every day. And I think that's important to know too, is that, you know, some days will be quiet. Some days you'll have 2 or 3 quiet days. in a row. And so on those days are when you need to take a look back at those 5 things and say, maybe I need to up my marketing. Maybe this location is not the right one. So let me know what your thoughts on those 5 core things for your antique booth business. And I will talk to you on the next video. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you guys more than you will know. Thanks so much.